Greetings. I hope to get back to my language and textual theme videos soon. I actually plan on making a video on the Ge'ez text of Enoch 106:2 this week, perhaps in the next couple days, God willing. But in the meantime, I wanted to share a cordial interaction which I had with Sista E just yesterday. You see, yesterday afternoon, I had a bit of free time and was able to jump on Berean's panel for half an hour, and Sista E had a few minutes as well, and she jumped on for about 15 minutes. And it was actually a lunchtime show, and we were both briefly available during lunch. And we got to briefly discuss some of the history of exchanges on the Berean TV channel, and in particular, we got to discuss why certain topics might have gone south or not gotten off the ground, amongst the various topics that are discussed on Berean TV. And as both of us were rushed for time, neither one of us got to fully unpack our perceptions of the topic, but I nonetheless appreciated the brief conversation that we did get to have, and I felt like the exchange was worth documenting and, so clipping up and, putting on my channel, and hopefully we can have more discussions in the future, whether on Berean's channel or on Clubhouse or on some other platform. So I'm going to play a half-hour clip from yesterday's show, although my exchange with Sista E was only about 15 minutes. She had to jump off before I did, and then I offered a bit more commentary, so I got to speak more than she did. I'll also have the live chat from that show visible on the screen, as I felt that the different comments from others were interesting, and as you'll see, they're different people had different perceptions. Some were positive towards my description of the history, and others were positive towards Sista E's description of the history. So, it's interesting to see the exchange in the live chat to a certain extent as well. And I'll also put a few links in the description, which will attempt to provide a bit of background to certain things that come up in this discussion. And of course, if anyone wants anything clarified, feel free to just ask here in the comment section, and I'll try to elaborate to the best of my abilities. And likewise, of course, comments and criticisms are also welcome, always welcome. And with that, here's the clip. Enjoy, and God bless.
We need to come together and make sure that we all sign that petition that Dante created to recognize the urban apologetic community, that term, that group, and everyone associated with it as a hate group, because they are.
All right, go ahead, Abu. Cut on my phone.
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon. And I'm just in time because I was just about to type in the chat. I saw it, Sista E.
Hold on a minute. That's my video. I got a video running. Oh, no, that's my sorry. I got a video running in the background. After that one played, I didn't click close. Go ahead. What you said?
No, I was going to say, so in response to Sista E's comment, which you have on the screen, let me first say shout out.
Yeah, read that. I want to go to Covey. Yes, go ahead. Thank you.
Let me just say shout out to Sista E. I'm glad to see her back on your in your live chat and on your panels and stuff like that. She writes, we can talk through the concept of hate group in reference to mass concept of this term. That's fine. What I would say is, oh, there she is. So what I would say is, it's what I think is important, and what was trying to be brought out in that clip that Berean just showed is a consistent definition of hate group, because it seems like one standard was used in one place and a different standard was used in another. I'm fully on board with saying stuff like IUIC is not a hate group. I'm definitely on board with that. But that's an ill fit with that petition that was put out that was saying people are part of a hate group simply for disagreeing, for questioning people on linguistic claims and stuff like that. So I think the issue here is a consistent definition of hate group, and whether this would even matter at all. Like, as I touched on during the Kyrie Irving controversy, I'm partial to the arguments of Noam Chomsky, who said that even Holocaust deniers should not be denied their freedom of speech, because once you start peeling away freedom of speech, saying, oh, well, this is hate speech, so we got to stifle
everybody gonna start. You're gonna
exactly, and it begs the question: who has the power to define that? Who's going to do that? And that's why you should allow even people who have views you consider outrageous have freedom of speech. But go ahead.
But now, Sista E, I want to ask you a question. Do you feel, because I got to keep it a buck, you, Pastor Kelly, And many other people, Dante with that list, many other people have moved to silence apologetics. We got you queued up saying, shut their channel down, strike them, vocab and all of them, to try to shut it down like the light-skinned Jews would do. That's what I'm saying. Y'all moving just like the light-skinned Jews. Because y'all want a protection for yourselves that y'all could say what y'all want. It seems like there's a pattern. Anybody that go against you, that go against Dante, that go against Teu, that go against any of them folk, automatically it's bad words that y'all can say. Now we'll bring up Faithful and Terry, and we'll bring up the Bang, and we'll bring that up. But do it seem like y'all try to move on the next level, not just saying bad words? Because even if Sherry say some bad stuff, if I say some harsh stuff, y'all try to move to. Once somebody even said something about getting people fired off their job, saying where they work at, and all this other stuff. Ooh, that's light-skinned folk behavior. Go ahead.
Actually, from my standpoint, when that petition was put up, that petition I think was directly coming at vocab with some of the rhetoric he was pushing and incorrect information that he was pushing about individuals like others, like myself, Dante, and all of them. When they was trying to ultimately categorize us as an extremist.
Vocab was pushing wrong information or information y'all didn't like.
I mean, no. When it was pushed as if it's in its extremist group or a group within itself, because I'm looking at hate group and extremist group to have some similarities, but it was pushed as if we're dangerous, like we're out to get you, like we're out to hurt you. I'm not out to hurt anybody.
The non-campers?
Non-campers are just disrespectful. But again, is a non-camper out here saying, I mean, I don't know of many non-campers. If y'all bring it to my attention, I'm fine with it. I have no problems with it. But I've never heard a non-camper say out of their mouth, I'm finna go in there and kill everybody in the room. You can't put a camp at the caliber of a KKK, because KKK has done a lot of damage. They've blown up buildings. They have killed Black people. They hanged Black people. They've been known to do that. So I think the problem is not necessarily the word hate group, is when we're put in the level of as if I'm a KKK. We're not in comparison to a KKK. Look at the years of damage that they did. So it's more so of attacking our credibility. Not if anybody who has to be concerned about their livelihood and their jobs is more so us than anybody in the apologetic community. I've seen cases where, great example, I'll use Cherry. She's not the best point of reference, but I can use her. She, someone in our community, her name is Sheikah. She is a principal of a school. She had made a point to say, somebody need to get her child taken away from her. And like as if she was getting ready to call, what do you call it? Family services on her. Family services on her so she can lose her child. So that's the whole point, because the thing is this: if you don't mess with us, we ain't gonna mess with you. But we had Dante we had what's his name, vocab, going into Dante's book, misinterpreting his book, making jokes about it. You had Faithful to God. You got to think of the crowd then. The crowd then was very disrespectful, to the extent that even some of the apologists had separated themselves from them because of the rhetoric that they was pushing. So I don't have a problem. Yeah, we have heated conversations. Yes, we're going to be emotional. I'm going to be pissed off today with a boo and probably nice to him the next day. That comes along with the conversation, because people have heated conversations. But when you start attacking people, making it seem as if they're stupid, coming after their books, making it seem as if their books are, this is what it means. This is what this person has said, and that's not what they said. But again, that's a part of the thing. But calling us at the caliber, calling the community at the caliber of a KKK, you can't do that. You can't, because yes, we had a few outliers out there. Outliers. And if you know anything about IT, outliers is an incident that happens that's not the normative. It was a few outliers that did what they did, like great example with the guy with New Jersey. But you later on found out that camp had already kicked him out. None of us out here saying we're going to do anything. If anything, we say the Most High is coming to judge. But no judge, I will say the consensus amongst us, none of us out here trying to do anything to anybody, I would think.
So you want to be sincere, because I remember Dante said in one video, I know the Fugazi, I figured out what the Fugazi is, the finesses with Berean. He's trying to separate us from the camps. But it seemed like some people said that vocab was blowing at the camps, and y'all took it upon yourself to defend the camps or to move all together, like y'all moving with Sakari, y'all moving with IUIC and GMS, and y'all took the lead in banging against the urban apologists when the camps wasn't even banging that much. And maybe a vocab, y'all took it upon yourself to bang on everybody else. Somebody say Damon Richardson, Eric Mason,
but let's be
all
honest.
these other. I don't know. I'll let Abu speak, but I can hear you.
But let's be honest. Every single person that we call, that most people, myself and others called out, are the ones that were coming at us. We weren't just out here blindly saying, I'm coming to get you because an apologist. No, I'm not. Usually
Richardson was disrespectful.
Correct.
Isaiah Robinson was disrespectful. Or
Yes.
BK Apologist was disrespectful. Rick Cardwell?
Yes, all
Hey,
of
yo,
them.
you lying.
Yeah, I don't think
saying.
I'd be curious what was the most disrespectful thing that I did that got me on.
Sister E, you know who Rick Cardwell is?
Y'all know who Rick Cardwell is.
It seems, Sister E, it seems like y'all just don't want to, y'all don't want people to critique anything y'all say. Now, a lot of people feel that you started this.
I don't care what people think.
Now, wait a minute. No, you're supposed to say, Berean, how they said I started that because you came out and said, how you going to make a video and not get in touch with Pastor Kelly? Talking about, I'm talking about years, I'm talking about back in the, I'm going back.
Yeah, I agree. I did do
You
that.
remember that?
I did that.
And then we was like, who says, because I said, I talk about Sinetta and Ray Hagan. I don't ever tell, shout out to Sign them, but I don't ever tell them. That's where somebody be. So it seems like you was trying to protect Kelly and all of them.
No, it's not even necessarily about Kelly and them, just overall the holistic group itself. I think the way, and Abu was up here, and I have no qualms with saying what I need to say.
DNA, the Pews, y'all try to shut down every conversation.
I got 3 minutes because I got to go back into a meeting.
Go ahead. I walk away. I can hear you.
And
I can
then
unmute myself.
once I'm done with the meeting, I'll come back up. I got 1 hour. I got a 1 hour meeting real quick. But with that being said, my only qualm with Abu was if we would have initially did this right when he had questions about the pews. Because my first introduction to Abu was a video that was sent to me by someone in Sunday seminary saying this guy's talking about the pews. And I will say this much. If anybody wanted to get in touch with Pastor Kelly, it's available. You can reach out to me. Anybody can reach out to one of us and say, I don't agree with your stance when it comes to the pews.
Didn't Kelly tell you to shut down the discussion?
When you get done, Abu, I shut down the discussion because ultimately the damage had been done. People were already throwing rocks. People were already offended. So it got to the point that everybody was arguing out of offense where he just said, I'm done talking. Because we have to admit it, and Abu, you have yet to admit it. The approach at the very beginning started the fire in the gas in the fire. I promise you, I will say this, Abu, because the person you was with that posted your video made it even worse. Faithful to God.
I don't care about these folks. Say them.
Listen. Faithful is just as bad as Cherry.
No, I said who Abu, because you said the person Abu was with.
Yeah, because he posted it. That's how I saw it.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Because Faithful posted it. Now, if your intentions was not that, that's fine. But the person that was I want to say, started this was the thing that was the problem. Because the thing is, Abu, if you would have just genuinely came to us at the very beginning, it probably would have been a little bit better. It probably,
who went to who in the beginning? I met Abu through you talking about this whole thing.
I only mentioned Abu because, again, someone in Sunday seminary sent me a video that Faithful did where Abu was talking about the pews, and I was like,
somebody in Sunday seminary?
Yeah, because you remember at that time we was paying attention to what Cherry was doing, what Faithful was doing, and they was like, because I didn't go see Faithful on my own. I didn't even know who Abu was when that first came out. I think the approach was enough in itself to make people just say, you know what, I'm offended. So we all just kept walking in the fence, and it got worse, and it got worse, and it got worse to the point it's like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. And I think the problem is Abu, while he's up here, has never once said, maybe I did that wrong.
I can address
it. Maybe my approach.
You got to address it.
But the thing is, he can address it because he's addressed it numerous times. I want Abu to answer this one question, and I'll sit back. Abu, who made the first video?
Me. I did.
Okay, so my question is this. Do you think it could have been better if you would have reached out and said, since this man understands the Pew, let me work with him so that we can kind of collaborate? Do you think that approach should have been better?
I would say that my first video and subsequent videos, but especially my first video, the one that he feigned offense on, was incredibly polite. And
you can be polite, but
bear
nice,
with me. Hold on. And the other thing was, it was a public conversation. It wasn't like he was discussing in a private, and I made it public. It was a public conversation happening on multiple forums, and I was attempting to discuss it with multiple people in those forums, and then people started recommending me towards him, and that's in his video. And so that's why I made a very respectful public comment on that video. I don't think it was out of line. And then from there, I attempted to engage in dialogue with him in your forum, and we learned later that, as I suspected, he felt threatened by that and convinced you to shut your forum down. Well, not shut it down, but take it from public to private. A forum that you set up for public.
Well, let me tell you, the thing is this: the reason he had me take it from public to private, and I've said this numerous times, was one, he said, I don't like what I had on. Before me and you even had that conversation, got to arguing, he said, Sister E, I don't like what I got on in that. Take it down. Because he's very mindful of the clothes that he wears. He said, I got this white t-shirt on.
Oh, yes.
That's why we took that down.
Yes, I remember.
And we've said this numerous times, and people tend to think it's other reasons. He said, take it down because of what he had on and the background of his house. Because he's very particular. If you notice, a lot of his stuff is either done in his office or done in his car. He's very particular about doing things.
He's conscious about doing dresses. Yes. No, he did tell me that on the phone privately, separately. Now that you mention that, yes.
And then there's another part of that story is it was actually done where you could actually see, I think, his house in his backyard. So he was very finicky about that. So that was the reason why we took that down.
No, but I was talking about your forum. But this is what I was saying. See, I've always approached this from the perspective of academia. And within academia, if somebody puts an argument out there, it's fair to address that argument, to explore it, to scrutinize it. It doesn't have to be seen as hatred. But so that's the way I understood it. There was a public discussion going on, and people who were promoting the Pews started to, because they really couldn't, they were struggling to address my objections, they started directing me towards Kelly Richardson's video. That's how I first heard about him and that video. And so because it was part of a public discussion, I offered a respectful and public reply. And regarding Faithful hosting it, it was hosted on my channel, but I have a policy that anyone can rehost my videos. They don't have to ask for permission. And I mean anyone. One Western can do it, a Christian can do it, a Muslim can do it, anyone can do it, an atheist can do it. I don't copyright and embargo my videos.
But so I'm sorry, hold on a second, Abu, but something happened around there about who platform it was supposed to be on.
So let me say this really quick, and I promise you I will be right back. I gotta do this meeting.
It's understood.
Okay, so with that, Abu, it's not only you doing something by yourself. The thing is, you and everybody knows the track history of Faithful. All of us know the track history of Faithful. And when you do that, you may have been coming from an honest place, but the person who pushed you out there to say, this is what he's saying, automatically put it in a level of offense. I think it's not necessarily your questions, because you have very valid questions. I think it was the way it's done. My mom always taught me, she said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And it was how it was done that was not very tasteful. And that's where the problem came. Because again, it's not that you're asking an honest question. It was what someone was trying to promote to push his argument. You and everybody knows, oh boy, Faithful has a serious problem, and he's very disingenuous in the way that he does stuff. So I think if you maybe would have said, hey, Berean, I know Sister E is friends with Kelly. Let me talk to her. Let me come on the channel. Let me do this. Let me do that. I have no problems with people that don't agree with me and agree with my stance. I think I've made that very clear, even within Clubhouse. Some of the people I rock with do not agree with me, don't like me, don't care. I mean, don't care. Well, I ain't gonna say don't like me, but don't agree with some of the stuff I stand with. But guess what? We still cool. I don't have that problem. I think if you would have done it better by one, reaching out, or even if you did it by yourself and said, I would like to follow up with him a little bit more. But when you put it in Faithful's hands, that's when it got really ugly.
All right, you go. All right, you gotta go. Right?
I gotta meet.
Right.
I got from 2.
Have a nice day. Good speaking to you.
All right. Just jump back on. Hit me when you're done. All right. Abu, Now, all right,
I gotta run myself.
Talk.
What I would say is, and I'm not trying to say anything disrespectful to Sista E. I don't ever try to disrespect her. I think that, and I'm not pinning this on her, but I see that as sort of an excuse, a post hoc excuse, not on her part. I think she inherited that from Kelly, that, Kelly did not want to have these conversations. And so he came up with reasons to avoid it. So one of his constant things was to declare how offended he was. And that's why when I was talking about the platform, I was talking about a forum she used to have. She used to have a forum. Sista E, God bless her. One thing I've always maintained a level of respect for Sista E, because when I first encountered her, she believed in open dialogue. She wanted open dialogue to happen. And she set up a forum specifically for that called Let's Talk with Sista E, right? And she allowed me to join that forum. And I went in there and I gave some respectful comments, not only on the Pews, but also on Lashwan Kodash, and invited Kelly into that. And Kelly came up with various excuses for why he can't dialogue with me, and he convinced her to kick me out of her forum and to set her forum to private, to stifle dialogue, because Kelly has a problem with open dialogue on a lot of his claims. And that's why he wanted to shut that down. And that's really where that came from. And there was these post hoc excuses that, they're offended because I let Faithful upload my videos. My thing is, anyone can upload my video. Deacon Hakka, God bless him, Al-Azhar Bun lawyer, Tahar from GMS, anyone can upload my videos. Whoever wants to. My videos are not copyrighted. You're free to use my videos. And I'm not saying those gentlemen that I just mentioned want to upload my videos, but my point is, anyone can upload my videos. And I don't think it reflects, my argument is not reflected by who re-uploads my videos. That I would have asked that they just focus on the arguments themselves. But unfortunately, Kelly started making excuses to avoid discussing the methodology in a straightforward way. And she's inherited some of those excuses.
All right. I believe Dunamis wanted to say something. I just had to grab that. I just had to talk to Elder for a minute. But I believe a lot of the stuff, when it goes back, I believe that they know that the movement, especially when we start talking about the non-campus, the moderate movement, was just getting jumping. When Sister E was on with me and we were just doing the Sunday seminary, we started going public with the Sunday seminary. A lot of people know that I was involved with urban apologetics. So there was a lot of apologists that would listen to the channel, and it was a lot of back and forth back then. Now, it's two things. I think that they're really trying to blame, and I can't say they're wrong. They want to blame. They want to get some blaming going on both sides. The thing really fell apart when I let Cherry and G-Man jumped on and they start banging out on Sister E. Israelites hitting me. Why don't you protect Sister E and blase, blase? But one of the things, I'm going to keep it a buck. Y'all already know I'm going to keep it a buck. Cherry and Faithful to God is a problem among the urban apologists. Sister Cherry's sharp. I tell y'all, I run in that door. Sister Cherry don't let that thing go. I'll run in the door with her, but her attitude is disgusting. Faithful is swift. Faithful and gave them Israelites a problem. Faithful is swift, but his attitude don't meet the knowledge that he have, and the disrespect and cutting people off. So their attitude don't meet the level of the knowledge of how they spit it. They can be way more dangerous than they are, but a lot of people will turn around and flip it and make it like, yo, it's their attitude, it's their attitude. Look how he talking to us. Because faithful a problem. Sister Cherry is a problem. I don't care what y'all say. In my personal opinion, them two are a problem among urban apologists, but they have their attitude is the most disgusting out of everybody else, out of all of the apologists. Man, he don't even, he just, I don't even really, put my mouth on him. I have more respect for Christina. A lot of people, I'm sorry, I'm reading this stuff out loud. Yes, a lot of people hit me, and I don't even know why they comparing her and Cherry and all of that other stuff. But I just wanted to say that. But at the same time, it seems like, Abu, and you speak to this, y'all tell me. I just want to keep it a buck. I love everybody. Teo, Dante, whatever I say to y'all, I love everybody. Pastor Kelly, I love you. I just don't know your number to unblock you. I don't know. I got 1,000 numbers in here. My phone is just, I got to get my mind right. But I don't have no order like that. But one thing, it seems like Pastor Kelly, it seems like Dante and them, and tell you enough, because they were leaders in the new movement, then the Brown thing, Professor Katz, you caused a lot of problems, Abu. I'm gonna keep it a buck. You caused a lot of problems. If somebody could look back and he said to me, yo, Berean, would you have still done it? Outside of Sister E in this whole movement, I got to admit that dude Brown, he a bishop right now. That dude Brown, he was my best Israelite friend. Outside of meeting Elder Green right now, I would hit him. He would talk. He listen, anything I need, I would hit him. That brother been straight up with me. That's how come I felt so hurt when the whole thing came out. And I was like, yo, and then I can't lie, I got the pass, I got other people hitting me, boy, you ain't finna let this go. I know you ain't finna let this go, so I had to go in. I ain't had no other choice but to go in on him. But I ain't gonna lie, Brown, that whole.
But you did it with love, though. I remember those days.
A lot. I gotta keep it a buck. That hurt me a lot. But when it comes down to certain things, we gotta admit some things. I believe that the movement was just jumping, and nobody in that movement wanted that information challenged in any type of way. And when the challenges started coming, I believe that Pastor Kelly was one of them leaders. I no longer support Berean TV. Because it looked like, it was cool when I was bringing Dana Stevenson on and anybody they recommend, and they was jumping on because I'm riding. Now, I already told everybody what it was. This is, from the gate, I said, this the finesse. We're going to get everybody here like we used to do a long time ago with them dudes in the neighborhood. Get them girls, them dudes in there that got Cuban links on, them dudes in there. Listen, we're going to party in the back door. Going to be open. Folk going to come up in there and them things going to come out. Now, y'all don't know what that means. That's just when you're setting people up. I want them to come here. I want apologists. I want pastors to come here for all of us to bang out and have discussions. This is all proverbially speaking, so we can get the dialogue jumping. They don't know what the block is, so they say I'm bringing plenty of Israelites and letting the Israelites speak. They thinking, the Israelites took over the channel, and people is disrespectful in the comment section as Christians. That's coming disrespectful. Yeah, I'm blocking them. I'm blocking them because I'm trying to build a thing, and I want to do something because I said if it don't work, I can't explain to Christians, this block work. I got to get them in there. I got to set them up and open up the back door. Y'all running and we going to get it on. So I'm just acting like the host. Elder Mike, he said he knew later on. He like, this. And I told Elder Mike, this whole time, I told you, I said, me and Elder Mike, this good cop, bad cop. I've been telling Israelites, I'm not accepting that doctrine. I'm not an Israelite, but I love y'all. I don't want the church people to dog y'all out. So all of that was part of what you would call the finesse. Let's get the dialogue jumping. Let's get the talking. Let's get the hashing all of this stuff out. And wherever the chips fall, the chips fall. Once the Pastor Kelly and them start peeking certain things, he want to back away. I no longer support Berean TV. Why? When it's just for you to get questioned on certain things. I don't think the finesse was that bad. But you're going to get questioned. But I noticed that people didn't like the question. And that's when they started flipping. And it seemed like we've seen it multiple patterns, multiple times on the Pew, on the DNA. Go ahead. But you pick it up.
I'm sorry. No, I was going to say, to be fair, it went both ways. I've said this in a bunch of places. Let me say this. When I first started hearing about Berean TV, it was certain Christians were saying, don't go on Berean. Berean will set you up. He's too close with the Israelites. And I was talking to these people. I said, I don't really know this guy. I don't know his channel, but let him have open dialogue. That this is a good thing, whatever. Then when the Pews thing started to get hot, and then there was a challenge to move from the Pews to DNA, I saw it reverse. Just as certain Christians were saying, don't go on Berean. Berean will set you up. All of a sudden, there were certain Israelites who had invested emotionally in the Pews, in GEDmatch, who now they were saying, don't go on Berean. Berean will set you up. And it's on both sides. It's immature. It's immature. Like you said, just have the dialogue, let the chips fall where they may, and, treat people respectful. But instead, people make these excuses on both sides. They try to poison people based on who they associate with and all these other things. There's all these excuses to just avoid a straightforward examination of the arguments, whether it be DNA, the Pews, etc.
Yeah, but at Baker, you was there. A lot of people remember all of this stuff. So as time went on, I was like, that didn't work. Kelly and them trying to shut everything down. I just still said, what we're going to do is still build a community. But now people lying. They don't like Israelites over there. They don't like Christians over there. And they start going back and forth. Even, I don't know, maybe that was a year and a half ago. Elder Mike was like, somebody said to Elder Mike, no, you can't be mad. I don't know what you're doing over there on Berean TV. He said, man, just click on the link. Ain't no secret society that nobody can't come up. He opens up the floor for everybody. So I can say that after people started seeing Elder Mike on and seeing how me and Elder Mike moving, some Christians started coming back and feeling comfortable for some stuff. But a lot of these people, they're not street people. So they don't understand, when you talk about finesse, I'm setting some stuff up. Let me milk this cow. Let me quarterback it. They don't understand that lingo. So I said, because people were so upset and temperatures were running high with faithful and everything, I said, what we're going to do is build a community. And now as time goes on, we know who's Israel in here. We can beef back and forth, but we've been beefing back and forth for so many months, years now. We like a family. So we among us can have disagreements and have talks, and now other people are coming, and we got enough footage from the past where I can bring old footage up and play it, and we as Israel and Christian that believe on Messiah, we can get together and have these dialogues right now. But it still seems like there's a spirit to try to shut these conversations down, and I think more so that they're coming from Israel. Now, the sense that when it comes to urban apologists and other people, they can say, yo, we don't want to do this on Berean. We ain't dealing with Berean out of order and all of this stuff. They still have not done with that historical. A lot of that historical stuff, I said, why don't y'all give Damon Richardson and them money to make a documentary against the Israelites, at least to deal with all of the stuff that Dante and Benaiah and all of them are putting out. And my position hasn't changed on that. I'm open with that. I don't think the church is answering the historical arguments, but the people that's really answering some arguments, I cannot lie. It seems like we're like Abu. We've seen all of that stuff. You would come with some straight questions. These for a while and out talking about, Abu, stay out of black people business. All type of craziness to try to shut the talks down, or try to turn it off on race and ad hominems and you working for the Vatican and the Illuminati. That's how we started joking, and even in the back chat now, everybody just know you was a Jesuit. Because people just keep putting out stuff like that, as opposed to straight dealing with the questions and the videos you were dropping. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to have to run in a moment as well. Just
all right. Anybody else could jump on if y'all got anything. Not to bang on nobody. We know.
Yeah, no. It was nice to see Sista E on here, and I hope some of the other crowd will rejoin the panel as well. But I got to run. Thank you for having me on, Berean. I'm looking forward to watching. A little bit later. God bless, and thanks again.
All right.
Berean.